What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome to my new Let's Play series reveal video. And we're going to be doing one of these right now because the way that this Let's Play is going to be laid out is there's a little bit of explanation, and I didn't want the first episode to be 5 minutes of me rambling before we got into the game. The first episode just wanted us to get straight into the game, and with a maybe sort of condensed version of what I'm about to say here. So definitely you'll see in the first episode, I will link you back to this video if you haven't seen it so that you guys understand how this Let's Play is going to be laid out because of the nature of how the game operates. But this is something I've been looking forward to bringing to you guys. I was debating for a long time on whether I was actually going to do this game, but because I think I played it extensively enough to the point where I feel like I can talk about it, this is a game that I decided why not do this before the next one, because I already know what our next game is, and I didn't want to do, spoilers, Nintendo back to back, so I wanted to put something in between that, and so this is the game I decided. So without further ado, folks, here's my new Let's Play. Yes, folks, everybody, welcome to my new Let's Play of Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. This is a game that came out a couple of years ago, and a game I played rather extensively. Not super extensively, but I definitely played the absolute hell out of it when it first released. This is a game that I was looking forward to a lot when it was first revealed, and the reason being is for those of you who follow my social media, who follow my channel, you guys will know I'm a huge fan of giant robots, whether that's Mechagodzilla and any of the mechs in the Godzilla franchise, whether that's Transformers, obviously, do a lot of Transformers reviews, or whether that's Gundam. I love building Gundam models. I have a ton under my desk sitting and that I'm looking at right now while recording this that I still haven't built yet, and I have a good amount displayed where I have my display set up in general. And for the longest time, I've wanted a story-focused Gundam game where it was a very serious story, but you could build your own Gundam. You know, you had parts to choose from, weapons that you could outfit it with, you could customize the paint and everything like that. I've been wanting that, and when Armored Core was revealed, I decided this is the game I really want, especially because one of the companies that was making it, which is From Software, but we'll get to that in a minute. Gundam has never given that to us for a while. They came out with Gundam Evolution, which was more or less Gundam Overwatch, and that was a multiplayer-focused game. And although we have Gundam Breaker, that's more of a sort of Gundam Build Fighters style series game, right? For those of you who know Gundam Build Fighters, it's essentially an anime where there's these kids, they build the Gundam models like you would do in real life, but then they're able to like scan them into a simulator and then actually battle with them. And depending on the weapons and stuff that they fabricate and they manufacture, that will obviously affect how they operate in the battle simulator. So it was pretty cool because they base a lot of the Gundams and the main Gundams on like real Gundams from real Gundam series, but I wanted something like if you were transported into Gundam 00, if you were transported into the world of Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. I wanted a serious story where it was single player focused, much like Armored Core 6 was. And Armored Core, funnily enough, is sort of under that same umbrella that Gundam is under, for those of you who want to know. Like, for example, in the most recent anime, or one of the most recent anime, Gundam The Witch from Mercury, the Gundam Ferract, that Gundam was actually designed by an Armored Core designer. When you're comparing Armored Core to Gundam, and you compare the Armored Cores in general and their design language to the Gundam Ferract, you can definitely see the Armored Core inspiration in its design. But regardless, the reason I'm saying this is because the way that this Let's Play is going to operate is due to the company that's making it, is From Software. From Software, if you guys have not heard of them, you've definitely more than likely heard of their games, specifically the Dark Souls series. They've essentially created their own genre of gaming called Soulsborne, Souls-like games, right? You know, there was a lot of discussion on, you know, Black Myth Wukong and some other games, you know, but relatively, you know, Bloodborne, all these games are Souls-like games. And just to give you an idea, Elden Ring was one of their latest projects, and it was obviously a smash hit, not only just at, you know, critically acclaimed, but obviously on Twitch, on YouTube, on social media. That was a huge game, and it won Game of the Year for a reason, right? Because of how big that game ended up being, but made by From Software. The way that From Software games operate is most From Software games have multiple endings to a game, thus you have to play the game multiple times to get every ending, or like a true ending, and that's no different with Armored Core, and they call it New Game Plus, and New Game Plus Plus. This game has New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus, meaning you need 3 actual full playthroughs of this game to actually get to the true ending of this game. It's not like more, I think in like Elden Ring, right, you get multiple endings, but they're all not necessarily the true ending, and you don't necessarily have to play through it a gazillion times to get a true ending, to my knowledge. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But Armored Core is much more straightforward with, you play through it 3 times, and by the 3rd playthrough, you get the actual true ending of the game. So the way that this Let's Play is going to work is that basically the way that these missions are laid out for this game, because you go by mission, is there will eventually be missions where you have branching paths. You obviously choose between 2 missions, and you can only pick one, and then depending on the outcome of that mission will result in a different layer to the story, a different story in general. Maybe it changes it entirely. So for the first playthrough, we will show every single mission, and then we will get to the final boss of playthrough 1, and that will still be considered a finale, just not the true finale, the finale of playthrough 1. And then we will get to the second playthrough. When we get to the second playthrough, and this also applies to the third playthrough, we will not be showing any missions that are exactly the same, especially the ones with no new audio or no new cutscenes or voice lines or anything like that. We will instead skip them and then go right to the missions that have new content. Or like if I skip a branching path mission, right, like if there's a branching path mission, if we chose the one in the last playthrough, we will show that we choose the other one in the next playthrough, and so that'll continue up until the second playthrough final boss. We will do the second playthrough final boss, and then we will do the same thing with the third playthrough until we get to the third playthrough final boss. So just to give you guys an idea of how this is going to be laid out, trust me, it's worth it. I definitely had sort of like shock and awe, to me at least, when you got to that third playthrough. It really starts to click and everything starts to feel really good. Not that the game doesn't click right away, it feels really good, but this is a game that I really enjoy, especially for Souls players. You know, this is a difference in the verticality. I just really like this game, and it really appeals to that, me wanting that single player Gundam focused story mode game, because you can do everything. You can customize your Armored Core weapons, paint, all that stuff, and it's really cool. You unlock them in a very much like traditional gaming sense, where you play the game, you earn credits, you use those credits to unlock parts. You'll see how it is in the Let's Play. But yeah, folks, I hope you look forward to my first episode of Armored Core 6 coming out on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. And so with all my videos, I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this little reveal. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends, and also follow me in the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, I once again thank you so much for taking the time to watch this little Let's Play reveal, and I'll catch you all in the first episode of Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, releasing on Monday. Peace, guys.
High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create.